We previously learned how to graph the tangent function, but this one has some changes. My amplitude is 4, and it has gone down 1 unit. So my period is still the same, 1 pi, from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. But now, going down 1, instead of being at 0, it's gone down to negative 1. Right in between 0 and pi over 2, usually that would be at 1, but now the amplitude is 4, so I would go up 4, but really then I go back down 1, so this is what that graph would look like. My cosecant function looks like this. Remember our parabolas, but it has gone up 2 units, so what we would call the vertex on a quadratic has gone up 2 units. The next few examples are actually in your book. But let's take a look at this example 1 and example 2. Example 1 asks us to write an equation, and we are given some information. We are given that the amplitude is 2, right there. We are given that the sine, that is going to be a sine function. We have to calculate what b is. So the frequency, and you are not expected to know that, but frequency is 1 over the period. Period is 2 pi over b. So that means 1 over the period would be b over 2 pi. So 2,000 equals b over 2 pi. I solve for b and I get 4,000 pi. That goes right in here. So take your time to process that one. Look in the booklet, in your book for more information. Here I'm writing a sine function. Now actually sinusoid could be sine or cosine. But here I'm starting in the middle and I'm going up. I'm starting in the middle, but it has shifted up 2, so I know that this function is going to be an up 2. 1 full period is at pi over 2. So this period is pi over 2, which is 2 pi over the absolute value of b. I cross multiply, I solve, and I find b is 4. That goes right here. Now, from the middle of the graph to the peak, or the middle to the bottom, is my amplitude, which is 3. So 3 times the sine of 4x plus 2 is the equation or the model. Page 21. 2 people are jumping rope. Look in your book at page 508, and that will give you a little more information on that one. I'm not going to be quizzing you or testing you on that, but still look at it because you may see that in the future. Here we're going to write a function with a graph given. Now these you need to know how to do. This is cosine because I start high and I go low. This right in the middle of the graph to the top is my amplitude, which is 2. The period is 2 pi over the absolute value of b. And this 1 full revolution is 2 pi over 3, so that means b is 3. So y equals 2, my amplitude, cosine b times x. Over here, I start in the middle and go up. That is going to be your sine function. From the middle of the graph to the peak gives me my amplitude. My period, peak to peak, this is 5 over 2 minus 1/2, which is 4 over 2, which is 2. So 2 pi over b, which is the period, right here, 2 pi over the absolute value of b equals 2. I cross multiply, I solve for b, and b is pi. So now my graph is 2 times the sine of x, pi, because that's what b is, x, and then a big minus 1 because the whole graph has gone down 1 unit. I am going to cover regression on the next video.